What's up, Bills Mafia? Let's get it, man. We got to make our final push for Josh Allen's MVP. Come on, man. What we talking about? Hit that like button one time on the front end. And if you have not subscribed, what exactly are you waiting on? Hit that button, man. Let's get this thing rolling. Now, Josh Allen was officially named a finalist for the MVP race. Salute to him. We know it's coming down to, him versus Lamar Jackson. And shout out to Lamar, man. Lamar, heck of a season. But this video isn't about Lamar. It's about Josh. So we're going to talk a little bit, right? Just in terms of why we feel that Josh should win this MVP, man. All right, so to start this thing out, man, to give you a little bit of backstory, this isn't Josh's first time or his second time being a finalist for MVP of the NFL, man. This is a dude that's, been on a tear of lately. Back in 2020, he finished number 2 in the MVP race. We obviously know who won that one. And then in 2022, finished 3rd in that MVP race. Won that one as well. But here we are now, finalist once again, and I think that, man, he has just as good a chance as any of the other ones. I mean, I'll make a case I think he has his best chance this time around. But in terms of why, well, number one, man, he led the NFL in total touchdowns, man, 44 of those things, man. That is a ton of points. We don't talk anything postseason wise. We know he ended up surpassing 50 total touchdowns for the season if you include the postseason. But in terms of in the NFL honors, the MVP race, that stops once the regular season stops. So he ended the regular season with 44 total touchdowns, leading all players in the National Football League, big time. He also led the NFL in total yards, right? 4,830 of those things, man. Highly impressive, okay? We know, man, he lit it up through the air. He lit it up with his legs. He lit it up rushing touchdowns, ended up with 15 of those things, right? So across the board, we were getting everything that we wanted, man. Over 4,300 passing yards. So like we said, man, we're checking off all of these boxes. Now, when we look at it from a team standpoint, finished 11-6, got us the 2 seed in the AFC playoffs, won his 4th consecutive AFC East championship as well, man. And when you're just thinking of all of these things, it's like, man, this dude went crazy at times, but there was more because, yeah, we know individually he balled out, right? We know that he led the NFL in certain statistical categories, and now we're even talking about how the team did, because that was also part of the argument, right? How can he be MVP if his team is losing, if his team doesn't make the postseason, or if his team is the 6th seed, 7th seed, right? But then you turn around and it's like, all right, well, now you don't have that to say anymore. Okay, well, how can he be MVP if he leads the league in turnovers? Okay, well, when you lead the league also in total touchdowns, that is also very significant. So we ain't going to act like one is more important than the other. But when you talk 44 total touchdowns, yeah, in contrast to 22 total turnovers, we taking them, man. We living with that, baby, all right? And like I said, before we get to the historical or the record-breaking part of this, man, we know a lot of people did talk about the turnovers, right? Turnover magnet, turnover machine, and we talked about it, man. He was like, no, a couple more turnovers than this guy, that guy, right? But the big thing we said was how many more touchdowns he accounted for than those individuals. So we're not worried about them. We know specifically who he's competing against, and that's Lamar Jackson. Well, just between those two individuals, Josh has had more turnovers, 11 more, okay? So he had, they both had 4 lost fumbles, and then Josh had the additional, the more interceptions, right? So we ain't tripping on that, but Josh also accounted for 15 more touchdowns than Lamar Jackson. That's the other part that don't get talked about. 11 turnovers, okay. We're going to put that 11 more turnovers. We're going to talk that. All right, we also need to talk them 15 more touchdowns as well, because we can't just minimize it and say, well, hey, man, at times for Baltimore, they just hand the ball off. Well, at times for Josh, he got to be more hero. He didn't have some of the stuff in terms of how that defense was healthy over there for Baltimore and all these other things, so he had to do a little bit more risk taking. He had to do a little bit more fighting back in some of these games if we was going to play that game. But at the end of the day, that's feelings, right? We take that out of it. We just simply say 11 more turnovers, but 15 more touchdowns. Come on, baby. What's the name of the game? All right. But just to put the cherry on top in terms of Josh and some of his record-breaking performances this season, I listed them down so that way I wouldn't forget any of them. All right. So here we go. Hit that like button on the front end before I read this list off. All right. Yeah. Here we go. So he set a perfect passer rating of 153.8 against those Miami Dolphins. You know, everybody loved the Dolphins. In week 4, that's when they fresh off the 70-point dub. Yeah, we went down there and what's happening? Or actually, they came up here and it was you know what time we was on. But then also in that same game, he became the second player in NFL history with 300 plus passing yards, 4 plus passing touchdowns, 1 plus rushing touchdown, and a perfect passer rating in a single game. Yeah, he went absolutely bonkers, all right? But then also this past season, he surpassed the Hall of Famer, QB, Steve Young, shout out to Steve Young, for second most all-time rushing touchdowns by a quarterback. Like we said, historical portions, not just this season. We talking league, we talking record breaking, all right? But then let's keep it going, okay? He also set an NFL record with 10 games in a single season with 1 plus passing touchdown and 1 plus rushing touchdown. Yeah, 10 games this season. He accounted for 1 through the air and 1 on the ground, bare minimum. We remember that. We felt that. We know what that felt like, and it felt great. Okay? It felt great. Big reason why we were able to get back in this thing down the stretch. All right? But then there's plenty more. He became the first player in NFL history to record 40 total touchdowns and not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 consecutive seasons. Josh has accounted for 40 total touchdowns. 4 seasons in a row. Has never been done before, all right? Never in the history of the National Football League. But you know I got one more. I got one more for you, all right? Also in week 18, when he won against the Dolphins, you know, that big time, you know, game where we had to go out there and all the marbles or all the chips were on the table, right? In terms of us making it to the postseason, clinching the 2 seed and winning the division. Yeah, all that had to happen and in prime time, might I add you, okay? But against those Dolphins, he set an NFL record with his 9th career game of passing for 300 plus yards and rushing for 50 plus yards in the game. Like I said, the dude went absolutely crazy last season. So what exactly are we talking about when we're talking MVP? Because to me, this is one of those things where it's like, man, if a guy could check off all these boxes from an individual standpoint, a team standpoint, and a historical record-breaking standpoint, well, there you go, man. What's the name of the game, man? What's the purpose of the award, man? That's what I'm trying to figure out. All right? Nothing against Lamar. You know I'm a big Lamar fan. Love Lamar. But I feel like it's got to be Josh. It's got to be Josh. You guys let me know, though, in the comment section, man, how you feel about it, man. You obviously heard the accolades and everything that he accomplished this season, despite what everybody was trying to push for the narrative for him, all right? So you let me know that in the comment section, and who would you give the NFL MVP award to and why? Make sure you spell it out in the comment section one time for the coach, okay? But either way, I appreciate you for tuning in. And until next time, baby, don't nobody circle the wagon. I said, don't nobody circle the wagon like the Buffalo Bills.